with many voters saying prices still feel out of control. Your thoughts? I'll start with you, Pete. Welcome to the program on the economic message that the president needs to deliver this evening.
Well, I think what we're looking forward to, hopefully, is the fact that he's going to be talking about the way the economy is looking right now, the turns that have been made. And I'm sure he's going to push back and say we'd be even further along if the left side would be moving with us the way he'd like them to. That hasn't been happening. Obviously, he's had to shift things around with tariffs and so forth, and immediately had that reaction where it was that suddenly 10%, then 15%, everything that the president's going to want to get out there, he will get out there tonight. And he's going to make sure that people understand that some of these things have been coming down faster than has been reported, and he's going to be very argumentative. I think he's going to definitely shift a little bit, but he's going to still be in a fairly strong argument about how the economy is going and how much better it's going to be if they let him do his job.
You know, John, the thing is that when you look at those who are on the far right, so to speak, and the far left, we already know how those individuals are voting. So this is really about messaging to those in the middle, whether you're a moderate Democrat or, as they say, a liberal Republican or an independent. How do you think President Trump should deliver the economic message? Because it's great to speak facts, and we love facts and reality. However, many of those voters in the middle also go by narratives. They're weighing who's telling the truth and things of that nature, and they want a little bit of compassion and connection to what they're actually feeling, not just the facts and reality. So how do you think President Trump should handle that?
Well, look, John, on Wise Guys, we're fortunate we get to go out on the streets and talk to regular people, mostly here in New York. So in New York, people are saying they're not feeling it yet. But when I look at the economic numbers, we're talking about real wages are up. We know taxes are down, the big, beautiful bill. Interest rates are coming down. Inflation's coming down. So all the metrics that would point to, hey, we're in a really good economy, people in Democrat blue cities and blue states are just not willing to even admit they're feeling it. And, you know, Donald Trump gets treated so harshly by the left-wing media that I don't think it's just the middle he's talking to, JB. I think it's also those on the left who will tune in. Donald Trump doesn't get a lot of opportunities for national coverage on all channels. So this has to be his moment to remind people, hey, I don't know how you voted. I don't know what your elected officials in your blue cities and states are telling you. But these are the facts, and the facts are undisputable. Almost the highest market of all time, or the market highs of all time right around now. And all of the metrics are going in the favor of the Trump economy. So he's got to make that case to all of America, not just the folks on Newsmax and other right-leaning channels.
You're absolutely right. He must deliver a comprehensive message to all people, but we do know those in the middle will decide the balance of power in the midterm elections.
Yeah, and in terms of the narrative, the mainstream media has not talked about, to your point, John, the wins that President Trump has had. But tonight, it's the opportunity. He can go unfiltered without their stepping in. But of course, a lot of this also has to do with tariffs, with the Supreme Court striking down much of the president's earlier tariff program and a new global tariff structure now in place. Pete, what impact are these trade measures likely going to have on the economy? What would you like to hear from President Trump tonight on tariffs?
Well, we know we're going to hear he was disappointed with the vote, but he's also just a guy who immediately can react, and he has reacted, and he went to this global side for the tariffs, and suddenly we've got 10% that now moved to 15%. I think it's been a strong move by the president to be able to react as quickly as he has. And it's something that I think he's going to be able to point out and actually dig a little bit deeper to give people a better understanding of exactly why the tariffs are so important. So I think it's going to be something not just political, but he's going to be talking, of course, about the economy and how much stronger it actually is than oftentimes gets reported.
You know, John, you're a businessman like I am. And, you know, business people, they have to deal with lawyers all the time. And many times lawyers sometimes can kill deals.
They do.
Like in this case, SCOTUS, trying to kill the deals that President Trump has fostered all over the globe, and he's actually trying to come back within his authority based upon his advisors. In the street, there's a little uncertainty going forward. So how do you think he'll walk that fine line between respecting the third branch of federal government while at the same time tell the American people, look, I'm fighting for you, and you know what? This needs to continue. Why? To execute my vision to make things affordable.
Yeah, look, I think it was partially a stroke of genius for Trump to use the IEEPA as a way to throw out blanket. Some of this stuff is tactical. If you go back to his book, Art of the Deal, he whacked everyone. He used something that may have not been perfect, but he did come up with reasons why all of these things were about national security. But there are 7 or 8 other ways that he can impose tariffs. The aluminum tariffs aren't gone. The steel tariffs aren't gone. So, okay, we got all this money in the coffers now. The Supreme Court didn't tell him what to do with it, so we can probably keep it or give it back to the people because the tariffs acted like a consumption tax. So the people, you know, according to the left, all those tariffs got passed on to the consumers. So Trump did talk about giving money back to the people. Maybe he'll give it back. But the main ones with our enemies and adversaries and those who deal with our adversaries, there are other ways that Trump can come back. I think what the Supreme Court says, you can't just blanket everything as everyone's an enemy because they're not all our adversaries. But in the meantime, Trump got to hit him with the stick. He got him out in front of them. He brought a whole bunch of dough in, and now we got to figure out what to do with the dough, which is not a terrible problem, and now how to reimpose them. And I think he'll figure out both artfully, like he's done in his first year. And imagine if the judiciary wasn't always against Trump. And the Supreme Court's been in his favor a lot, but a lot of the lower courts and the Congress have been killing him.
True.
Yeah, so true. And you know what? Compliance came to my mind. They're always trying to invoke disclaimers. Hey, you know what? In this case, with regard to tariffs, they might actually want to add a disclaimer saying that no refunds and no exchanges when it comes to tariffs. Thank you so much, John and Peter. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Good to
guys.
see you.